especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which including him.
Way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol.
Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices.
Boxing insiders have launched serious accusations against Canelo Alvarez, alleging he's using steroids ahead of his upcoming fight with Terence Crawford. Concerns are mounting over his sudden muscle gains and past failed drug tests, with David Benavidez stepping into the spotlight to question why Canelo refuses to face him directly. Benavidez further claims that multiple members of Canelo's team have tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs, suggesting a tainted camp and casting doubt over Canelo himself.
Greatest Mexican boxing fights of all time,
Huge.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm 100% confident in myself. If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. Especially since, seeing that everybody in the team is on steroids, which including him, he never got off.
You think he's on steroids?
Of course. How does five?
You saw De La Hoya.
How do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids?
Right.
You know what I mean? No, all those fucking dudes in that camp are good.
Yeah,
I seen Eddie Renoso on my fight, so we made a joke. He said like he came to watch me the fight and shit. And then they're like, "Oh, you think he's?" In my head, I'm like, "What do you think Eddie Reynoso's thinking about?" He's like, "Are we gonna fight David Benavidez after seeing this fight?" In his head, Eddie Reynoso was like, "Fuck no, we not fighting him."
Yeah, of course. Honestly, I don't blame Canelo. It's fucked up because there's a lot of money.
It's not even about the money. It's not about the money.
But okay,
100 million, dude.
but he's made money.
The first step when you're a fucking warrior, bro, the only thing you think about is glory. I've never thought about money. I've been smart. I'm negotiating my shit. But it's always a prize, bro. It's always, go out there and beat Canelo, bro, I'm a legend. You know what I mean? That I'm gonna live forever in boxing as a legend. That means way more to me than any type of
And I think that separates you too, David. And I admire that shit about you. I was like that at one point.
Yeah.
How much you give me?
Yeah. and not to just bypass him. Shout out to Morel as well.
Yeah, shout out to
Eddie Reynoso's gym is under intense scrutiny amid allegations that he personally supplies fighters with performance-enhancing substances. Canelo Alvarez, who trains under Renoso, has faced steroid accusations more than once, fueling suspicions about the environment within the gym. Critics point out that several fighters from Reynoso's camp have tested positive, prompting questions about the legitimacy of Canelo's rapid muscle growth as he prepares for his bout with Terence Crawford.
Serious accusations about his gym. And the accusations are that people, or at least the implications are, that he is the one that is providing performance-enhancing drugs or in some way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol 2 times. For Fahim Satur, I'll say that he did it 2 times, even though I think it was for the same fight. But Canelo Alvarez popped dirty for clenbuterol 2 times. You have Luis Nery, who had tested positive, but I think Luis Nery tested positive before he was with Eddie Renoso. Then you have Ryan Garcia, who popped dirty after he left Eddie Renoso and went over to Derek James. And then you have Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez popped dirty while he was with Eddie Renoso, but at the time he was still allowed to fight. You also clearly see that you have an issue with the fight that's coming up with Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, in that you have one guy that tested positive and you have another guy that looks like he's using in order to get up and continue to climb up weight class. At a certain point in time, and this is something that Rolly Romero had said, certain point in time, your body just doesn't do that. At a certain point in time, your body just doesn't do it. I'm 6'2", 200, and should weigh about 200, closer to 250, but I should weigh about 210. I'm not gonna get up. If I was 210 now at 50 years old, I'm not. By 55 years old, I'm not. The only way I'm gonna get up to 260 of muscle is if I'm juiced.
It's widely accepted that gaining significant muscle mass naturally becomes increasingly difficult in your 30s. Yet, Canelo Alvarez's current physique appears markedly larger than before, igniting further speculation. With ties to Renoso's camp, fans and analysts are now questioning whether his transformation is due to natural discipline or if performance-enhancing drugs are quietly playing a role behind the scenes.
For a 30-year-old, right, you remember, your body grows, men's body can grow in height and length up until to the extreme in your 20s. By the time you're 20, your height and all that stuff is there, right? Your height and your length in your mid-20s, you know, by the time you're 29, your musculature is pretty much there. It gets harder to gain and put on muscle after 30. So Canelo Alvarez is about to fight a guy that is going to put on 20 pounds of muscle.
Joe Rogan's commentary on Canelo Alvarez's physique has ignited serious debate across the boxing community. Noting how unusual it is for someone in his 30s to bulk up so rapidly, Rogan emphasizes that natural muscle growth slows with age, yet Canelo seems to defy the trend. For Rogan, this isn't just suspicion, it's scientific. He argues that such a sudden transformation is nearly impossible without assistance, prompting many to take his insights seriously.
Canelo, man, I don't know if he's cheating.
What do you mean?
I feel like Canelo juices. But I'm a Triple G fan, so I'm a say that ahead of time. I just like
There's a
Triple G.
lot of money, huh? And if I could get away with it, I would do it.
Some tainted beefs.
I think, well, he definitely got busted once for something. But it could have been from tainted beef. We don't know. But it also could be that, we should probably leave them alone and let them do whatever they want to do. Do you want to see Manny Pacquiao fight or not? Right? I want to see him juiced up, fighting at 45 years of age, coming in with a full six-pack, lighting people on fire.
As the Canelo vs. Crawford fight nears, rumors of steroid use are gaining momentum among fans and pundits alike. Many suggest that Canelo's access to top-tier facilities, nutritionists, and medical professionals makes him susceptible to shortcuts. The environment surrounding him, critics claim, provides ample opportunity to use banned substances without immediate repercussions, raising questions about the fairness of his physical advantage.
What up, everybody? It's your boy MC from MCTV. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo Alvarez is on steroids right now as we speak. He's going to be fully juiced for something that hasn't even hit the market yet. Think about it. He's pretty much a billionaire. He has access to...
Floyd Mayweather has been outspoken about the steroid allegations against Canelo Alvarez, asserting that the industry often turns a blind eye to such practices. He believes Canelo benefits from a double standard, protected by promoters and fans who prefer not to question his legitimacy. Mayweather emphasizes that steroid use isn't just unfair. It endangers the sport's integrity and must be addressed openly.
What we don't talk about is, we talk Canelo. Steroids. Y'all don't talk about that. So we don't know. We really don't know all the fighters he beat. He could have been not clean in a lot of...
In the lead-up to the Canelo vs. Crawford fight, accusations about steroid use have sparked heated exchanges among fans and analysts. Supporters of Crawford question Canelo's size and power, while Canelo's fans doubt Crawford's endurance at a higher weight. The controversy has led both sides to agree to rigorous drug testing, reflecting a broader lack of trust in boxing and a desire for transparency amid ongoing PED debates.
Canelo and Crawford are strictly and consistently doing random data testing in order to silence each other's fanbase and their critics ahead of their showdown this September. Now, despite this being a normal thing, the gravity of this fight brings in more attention to their test results, partly due to the fact that suspicion regarding both men has been up as of lately. Namely, Crawford sudden bulk and jump to 168 and his close relationship with Snap and Victor Conti, and of course the recent PED scandals being associated with Team Canelo, as well as him once testing positive for clenbuterol 7 years ago due to contaminated meat. With that said, both men have been doing random testing since June and will undergo strict and consistent random tests up until they finally meet next month. Now it's worth remembering that despite all the recent allegations for Canelo and Crawford, both fighters have been
Canelo Alvarez's transformation from his early days is remarkable. Once a smaller, quicker fighter with a natural welterweight frame, he has dramatically bulked up over the years. This change has fueled widespread speculation about how he achieved such size, especially given his age and the physical toll of the sport. While some attribute it to disciplined training, others remain skeptical about whether performance-enhancing substances are involved.
I think you gotta lean more towards Canelo, because like I said before, he's been pitting big guys out and down. Canelo not even really a 68 pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe. And he been hurting these guys. I think he dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. He be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So, I don't know. It's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it. So, so be it. I think Crawford should take a warm-up fight. At like 60, or like at least at 60, to get his body, the feeling of somebody a little bit bigger, and things like that. I know when you go up a weight, you gotta, develop that power and not develop the power, but like that muscle on to be heavier and things like that. So he might not want to take a fight because he's trying to build up right now, but I think he should, just to stay sharp and that way he don't have like a long layoff.
Nico Ali Walsh, Muhammad Ali's grandson, offers insightful commentary on Crawford's strategy against Canelo. He highlights that Crawford isn't blindly risking a size disadvantage but is instead training meticulously, sparring with larger opponents to adapt to Canelo's power and pressure. Walsh sees this as a calculated, strategic move, showcasing Crawford's intelligence and preparation to turn the challenge into an opportunity.
People with Canelo before Canelo's last fight, then after Canelo's last fight, it seems like it's more 50-50 now. So everything is just build up for that fight is just going to be absolutely magnetizing. Like that fight, it's garnered so much more buzz after Canelo's last fight, and Bud is Bud. He's one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. He is one of the greatest fighters in boxing history. So it's going to be a fight. It's going to be awesome to watch.
Have you sparred any of them?
I haven't sparred Bud yet. I haven't been in Canelo's camp. I've met Canelo a few times. I love Canelo's team. Canelo's one of my favorite fighters. He's been my favorite fighter for the longest time. But I have to be Team Bud because me and Bud are cool, and I have so much belief in Bud, and I know who he is as a fighter. He is one of the greats. So he can do anything, he wants.
Being around both of them and seeing how they work and train and things like that, what makes both of them the fighters they are, in your opinion?
I've watched Bud, so for Bud in particular, he's calm in everything he does. And that kind of calm, it's scary to watch because it shows experience. You can see that he's been doing this for decades. You can see it with his shadow boxing.
Boxing journalist Dan Raphael provides a compelling perspective on why Crawford is willing to face Canelo. For him, it's about more than a paycheck, it's about cementing a legacy. Crawford aims to be remembered as a fighter who took on the biggest challenges, even if it means risking everything. Raphael emphasizes that beating Canelo requires near perfection, with every aspect of Crawford's game needing to be on point to secure victory.